Welcome back. So today I have a tool. I've been using it here and there, but not so much, with intention. But, I finally got to a comfortable place with it, and yeah, let's talk about it. This is the MeloDrip. It's a tool that disperses water in a way that just lowers the kinetic energy. So basically, if you have a stream of water that's just going down into your bed, you're kind of just like concentrating that force down into the grounds. But this distributes that force and just gives it a little bit less energy to basically agitate your coffee grounds during percolation or during immersion. It's a fantastic tool. It gives you a little bit more control over the flavor that you want, or the profile that you want, and it's not very hard to use, but to optimize and maximize the flavor to be what it is, it's a pretty unique tool in that sense, that it allows you to just have a lot of freedom and creativity, or how you control what you taste. Let's go over the gear real quick. I'm using the V60 Neo with Cafec Abaca paper, my ZP6 grinding at 5.3, so quite a bit coarser. Today I'm using Asor coffee roasters. I'm using their Panama Finca Lerida Geisha honey, 1800 Casacada. The flavor notes are acacia honey, apricot, tangerine, and caramel. The reason why I'm using these beans is I recorded a video reviewing these beans, and it had a really nice body, and the flavors were pretty clear in terms of like what I was trying to achieve. That being said, even though this has like a decent body, it even says it has like a really like mellow body. I've been preparing a brewing recipe that allows for kind of even mellower like body, because I'm just trying to push that identity and allowing the other flavors to kind of like come out, reducing the vibrancy or the intensity of the sweetness, and allowing for the midtones and the end flavor to just come through, so it's not overwhelmed by the initial sweetness. And that's where the MeloDrip comes in, and I think I've achieved it. So I'm gonna do a live demonstration. This might be a little weird. I gotta use both hands for the whole process. The brewing recipe that I'm doing is 14 grams at a 1:15 ratio. I'm using 92-degree water. Oops, a little too many beans. And the ZP6 is at 5.3. And so basically what I'm trying to achieve is a less intense sweetness, but a flavor profile that is way more, evened out, rounded out flavor profile, because I'm not trying to just have a full-on cup of sweetness, but rather I want to taste the caramel, I want to taste the tangerines. I want to know if the acacia honey is slightly woody and less sharp, and so that's what I'm hoping the MeloDrip kind of achieves. So let's get the grinds in. 14 grams in, and we're putting 210 liquid in. So just to make sure, my brewing recipe is, so it's a double immersion recipe. With the switch closed, you're brewing for 30 milliliters, and then at 30 seconds, you're gonna open and then pour to 70 milliliters. And then at 1 minute, you're gonna pour to 140 and then close it. And then at 130, you're gonna open it up and let it draw down. And then around 2 minutes, you're gonna pour into 210. And then the finished drawdown should be around 245, 3 minutes. And be pretty strict about that, because you don't wanna introduce a bit of astringency or bitterness that might be from like the final, like the little remaining drips that are ending. Here we go, closed. We're gonna go 30. So it's a nice distribution. you know, we're not trying to agitate the brew too much, which is what the MeloDrip is essentially doing. Once it hits 30, we are opening up and then pouring to 70. So you can really control and finesse like how much water goes into the MeloDrip. But for the most part, it does just take away a lot of the agitation that is coming through from pouring. And then once we hit 1 minute, which is right about now, we're gonna pour to 140. And we're almost there. And then we close. So what this does is essentially allows for a little bit more immersion to build up the body, build up the sweetness, but not too long, because once we hit 130, we just open it up and then let it draw down. So it's kind of like it's like a little bit of a checkpoint to build it up. And so, you know, as we hit 150 right now, it's drawn down. And then I'm gonna pour in up to the 210, and then we're gonna finish it off. So yeah, we're gonna let it draw down. Just like that, we hit our timings at 250, 250, 256, 257. Yeah. Yeah, this is awesome. For anybody that really cares, the total yield is around 184 with that 2 gram little taste test that I do. 184. So it's around an 18%, 20% total extraction. Anyways, yeah, this is great. It's really like nice. It's not really dense feeling, you know, as you expect with the MeloDrip. It really just allows you to have a longer taste of the coffee, but it doesn't linger in your mouth as long as you'd want it to. The caramel is quite a short-lived, but when you smell the coffee, the caramel is an undertone that you can taste. Or you can smell. And so, you know, I really like these beans, and the reason why I chose Asor to just review and use this, because the beans themselves are pretty flexible in its flavor, and because you know that a strong flavor like honey is in the beginning, the dense sweet caramel flavor at the very end, and then you have citrusy fruit, a tangy fruit in the middle. You know, it's pretty like well built and pretty straightforward as to what the flavor arc should look like or taste like in your head. But pretty much, yeah, the caramel becomes like an undertone that just like really carries the overall flavor. The MeloDrip really just like, you know, reduces the intensity of the sweetness in the beginning. It allows the apricot and the tangerine to just like shine through. So I think if you're just starting out as like a home brewer, and you know, you have a V60 and you get those sour notes that, you know, most people like start off with pretty much with the V60, I think this tool will help that a lot, because it just mellows out that intense flavor that you would get from entry, you know, novice level brewing techniques, and you know, just not really knowing like how to distribute water in a very even way. That being said, this is not just a tool for novices. I think this has like a very, very high skill ceiling because it allows you can control the flow of water, but you can't control physics in the way that water is dispersed, no, even with a slow pouring rate. The shower head situation just lets you distribute water in a very, very even way that, you know, just creates low agitation and a different flavor. So I think in terms of skill floor, this is, anybody can use this. This is a really, really simple tool. You literally just pour water into it. But in terms of skill ceiling, this could be used at the highest level of competition because it just allows you to control and finesse the water that you're putting into your coffee. Anyways, if you liked my little review of the MeloDrip, please let me know. If you know what an apricot tastes like, please leave a comment because I don't know what an apricot tastes like. Actually, I've never had an apricot in my life. Anyways, please join my Discord. We have like, you know, chats about coffee brewing techniques and just like general just stuff about, you know, what it is that you're brewing every day. And I regularly update my testing and my kind of like thoughts and rambling and yapping. And so please join my Discord. Anyways, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Peace.